Wow. When I was a kid, and we got, my parents got Martha stewarded by a man named Homer Jordan for their property and stuff here in the Mesilla Valley because of the corruption in the county commissioner's office. We went up to a place called Pasco, Washington. We were going to go to Farmington. We would go to Farmington, New Mexico. And things didn't pan out there, and then we ended up chasing job trail things for Dad up to a place called Pasco, Washington, because it was Dad was in construction and it was booming. Okay, so Mom and Dad checked booming trends to where to go to get jobs involved with construction. We ended up in Pasco, and then they didn't find it there, so they moved on. Then we ended up in Tucson, and then Tucson, we lived in a rock box that was hotter than hell, and there was lots of, city issues and problems. So I ended up going up. My mom checked another boom construction thing stuff, and Mom used to investigate, and we ended up in a place in the Colville, Washington area. When we first got there, Dad got a job at Alcoa, and we were in Addy, which was where Alcoa was at, the plant. Addy was a town of 200. And I went to school in Chihuahua because it was closer to Addy than Colville. But when Mom got up there, Mom got a job in Colville because it was a larger town, and she got a job working for the judge because she was a legal secretary. And I spent the first semester finishing sixth grade in Chihuahua, where I had a better relationship and stuff with the students, the kids and stuff. But the teacher and the principal were prejudiced because we were from New Mexico. They thought I was Mexican, and people looked at my dad and thought he was Mexican. And I didn't understand it, but Bob's mom explained it to me when we moved to Phoenix when I was in high school. And Mexicans lie, and they hide from La Migra, and and my dad has experienced being detained by Border Patrol stuff and at the airport in El Paso because they suspected him of being Mexican when he was younger. Okay, so, and I've been profiled in numerous times when I was young, okay, by Border Patrol and type agencies and stuff because I looked Mexican. Okay. And so, the Wedo, the redneck, the Mexican, Arabic, Lebanese. I've been profiled and then when I was married to a light-skinned black woman in North Carolina, Dominican, Puerto Rican, I you name it. Anything that ignorant bigots can put into their brain that they do. Okay, they let their imaginations run wild, and that comes from a violent sexual tribalism. It's not in our DNA. It's in our biological and psychological conditioning. Our DNA is woman, man, faithful. Yes, okay, Humgawa, right? Tantor. That's our DNA. Okay, our DNA is different than our psychological and biological conditioning. And when you're not humble enough and kind enough to stand up for your gift of life and understand the eternal natural laws provided by an infinite essence, you become animalistic and quite insane, like physicists and neuroscientists and theologians and all the rest of those labeled wackadoodles that do wackadoodle-do stuff. And they're wackadoodle. And but the first kid I met from Colville, okay, we were they had a Alcoa softball game, and they were against different departments. Okay. And the star of the softball thing was a young high school baseball phenom kid that was one of the sons from one of the dads on the other team of my dad's team. Well, the star on the other team was my dad. And we were watching the game, and Dad, Dad got a real good hit, and the kid made a diving catch to get his, and Dad was probably as good an athlete as that kid, but my dad was 20 years older. And I remember watching and seeing Dad do his thing. Dad's a good athlete, right? But there was 20 years difference. So the kid was more spectacular because my dad was in his 40s and beat up and had a bad hip from an injury and stuff. And the other kid was, just waiting to get destroyed by Steve Ballmer and Mark Cuban, right? And then puppy mill him through it. And then, okay, well, we can't use you anymore. So McCall, take a knee, and here comes the next, here comes Trevor Lawrence. Okay, now here comes Carson Beck. Okay, well, here comes the next phenom, the next puppy mill celebrity market. Got to sell those Joe Montana uniforms through Sears and Roebuck catalog, right? So it's how they are. They're insane. Yeah, they are. And people buy into it, the promoters, because the promoters can use your ego to fight against other people, okay, to be the best. Well, we were both sixth graders, and Mick took me over and said, hey, you want to play some ball with me and stuff? And he was the phenom pitcher, okay? And I had just played Little League with the Mexican man who taught us how to hit real fast pitchers. He was a real good coach. And so I'm littler than he is, and thinner and stuff. But he's going to pitch to me and intimidate the hell out of me. If, we were playing, hey, let's play this, and he pitched first, and I was going to hit. I'm like, oh, cool. So he's going to do batting practice. So he's going to throw me balls I can hit, and then pow, like my coach used to do. Right? My coach could pitch faster than McDaly, right? Because McDaly was 10, 11 years old, right? So he starts pitching me and, firing it right down there. And I'm like, oh, cool, good hit, bad hit. But smack, 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 smack. He's giving me, all right, keep your eye on the ball. And so I'm hitting. And I didn't realize I'm pissing this kid off because what he wants to do is get me out there and humiliate me and show me, look at how good I am, all right? And your dad's the star on the softball thing. He's the best player. Yeah. And then I get up there and just hit him. So then it's my turn to pitch to him. And I don't throw as hard as he does. So he's like, come up closer, so you can pitch it faster like I do. So I'm like, oh, okay. So first good, strong pitch I give him, he line drives right back to my face. And I, because I let it go, and when I was throwing it hard, he line drived it right back in my face, and I took my glove hand and caught it and bruised my hand, and he laughed. And I remember thinking, I was like, God, if that was me, I'd be, okay, I almost killed you. Let's do something different. We're totally different kids. And that was our relationship. That forged our relationship the whole time I was in Colville. Okay. At first I thought, it's because, I hung out with Chuck Valley, the California stoner kids and all that stuff. It wasn't so much that, okay, because Chuck was his left tackle. It was because I was a better athlete than him, and he was jealous of me. And I didn't understand it, because when we were playing, I thought, oh, cool, he's giving me good pitches to hit. This, we're like batting practicing. He was mad because he couldn't strike me out, make me look like a fool, like Glory Days, Springsteen. And I hit just about everything he threw at me. And, I'd done batting practice with my coach who could throw faster than him. So I wasn't scared anymore. Okay. And he took it back at me by trying to hurt me. Okay. And then I was watching the sports last night, and the big coliseum for the billionaires to get all the poor people who are being killed by chemical poisoning. Diabetes is a reaction to chemical poisoning and your food's reaction to trying to sustain yourself, but it can have bad chemical effects, and you take it for comfort just to settle down and die because you you're going to die. So you might as well eat and enjoy something. Like, Damien's mommy with Boob before they were poisoning him to death. You might as well just go back to Jamaica, eat some fish, and enjoy your just enjoy life for a while before they kill you. Past, present, future operate at the same time. Life's eternal, grace is infinite. It's kind of like a woman's intuition. She just had to come to the fact that they were going to murder her beautiful man, baby's daddy, because they're all bitches. Because he's not Shark Tank. He adhered to the line of the Christ, Haile Selassie, the enlightened one. Okay. So you got to understand the ones that get away from, there are those that migrate to the tribalism to try to be dominant sources of glory to the tribalism. Okay. And then there are those of us that try to get away from the tribalism and then try to get people to not be self-destructive through the perception of worship being of self. Okay. And so you people trapped in the soul, in the ego, okay, are in the delusions of worship of self. And the people that try to get away from you are the ones that realize that life is eternal, grace is infinite, and they are the tribal sources of the enlightened ones. Okay, do you understand? And I'm one of the enlightened ones. We'll talk at length further on things about people that call themselves law enforcement and sit and watch the Christ be tortured by corporations and don't get up to do anything to help them because they're like McDaily. Okay? And they know it. Everybody on a TV commercial. Okay? Doing things with drugs to kill the poor because they want to commit suicide through biological conditioning and psychological conditioning. Okay? And they become roach-like in their brain activity because you put people in a sewer, they act like creatures in a sewer. They know. They know who I am. And I know them. I know them better than they know themselves because I can wake up in the morning and explain them to themselves. Okay? And they can't stop. Once it gets into your blood, you just can't stop. Okay? Yes, you can. Because I'm the Christ and you're not. And your family's been praying to the Christ for a long time. Okay, guys? I love you, man, all right? Peace.